are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports One. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Report here on a Monday, the first post-Thanksgiving show. The run has begun, Tony, and also it is the start of Ranger Week Friday. The Penguins, the fish and chips, dude. Are you pumped?
Yes, dude. I am stoked. I'm excited to be back here, dude. Feels like literally forever since we've done this show together.
I know.
Which is kind of wild because it's only been obviously just the long weekend. But yeah, dude, I'm stoked for this upcoming weekend. Like you said, dude,
The fish
the
and
food,
chips.
the drinking, the atmosphere,
win, most likely.
dude.
Finally got
the
a
win,
win
dude.
over the weekend. Which is great.
Exactly. Maybe a little upturn here in the level of play for the Rangers, which I'm also excited to kind of break down and talk about. But how was your Thanksgiving, dude?
Excellent Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Favorite dish without the pecan pie,
Honestly,
dude.
yes,
Come
yes,
on.
the pecan pie, yeah, absolutely, always is,
All right.
always is. But great time with the family, and seeing my niece and nephews. That was always a great time as well. So really enjoyed that. My sisters, and then it was good. I was mentioning how we had my niece Layla's birthday party on Saturday, so got to see my cousins, Luke and Thomas. That I mean. Really haven't seen much. Maybe could be almost 10 years, honestly. It had been that long, so good to catch up with them.
Yankee fans?
Yeah, actually, so they're not really into it now, but back in the day, we used to go and we were actually talking about this like Bat Day back in the day, going to the stadium and stuff.
That's sick.
Yeah. So it was really great to see them. What about yours, sir?
Oh, it was great, dude. Jersey, traveling, sucked.
So the traffic was brutal.
Traffic was, unheard of, dude. I guess it was raining, so I guess like the entrance ramp to the Garden State Parkway flooded, backed up all the way to Staten Island. Oof, dude.
Wait, the Merritt Parkway?
The Garden State
The Garden
Park.
State. Everything's not Connecticut, dude.
Honestly, dude. But my dad bought a new car. I bought a new Jeep, so.
Oh, wow. What type of Jeep?
It's a Jeep Cherokee.
Okay.
And it's nice, it's like bright blue, cool interior, dude.
Dope.
So I was driving that around. So that was kind of the upside, I guess, there.
Did they go test run to AC with it, or?
I don't think so. I mean, he bought this like last week.
So literally, though, it's coming. Though,
Like it is, yeah. Oh yeah, dude, for
Test
sure.
it out.
Although he may be like, I don't want the mileage to go up. Let's take my mother's car, But it's great, dude. And then finally, the turkey, awesome. The stuffing. My cousin made this baked mac and cheese as well with the breadcrumbs. That was great. And of course, dude, the cheesecake. I had this it wasn't an apple pie. I forget what my mother called it. But it was kind of almost like an apple fritter, but it just had chopped up, diced up apples. And then there was no there was no puff pastry on top. It was just the bottom and then the apples. So it was
Sounds
good.
pretty good.
No, yeah, it was pretty fire, dude. So yeah, dude, it was good. It was solid. The food,
hearty
dude,
leftovers or no? Did you bring much back or not really?
some stuffing. I think I brought back some stuffing. No
dessert?
turkey though. Oh yeah, cheesecake. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, some slices of cheesecake, dude.
Gotcha.
And I think some pieces of bread, dude. Maybe half a loaf, dude.
Great bread, the bread, right? That's very important.
Yeah,
important.
dude. Oh, dude, had appetizer with bread, the oil. Oh, dude, shrimp cocktail too.
Oh, I just happened to think about this. So obviously the break, a lot of time, just chilling, long weekend and stuff.
Yeah,
Playing
yeah.
a lot of Madden, got the new one. So I
Okay.
was thinking maybe if you guys don't have anything scheduled next week,
Not
Gaming
this
Corner?
Wednesday, the following.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know if you have anything scheduled already, but if you don't,
No, nothing.
so
Let's
and
go, dude.
We brought the NHL back out too. Classic controls. Me and Matt actually played Not too long
skill
ago.
stick, dude.
But yeah, so we could do like a combo with the new Madden, honestly.
The stick,
and I've been
dude? Yeah,
on
I'm down
the
for that.
run, and it's funny. Benny, who is commented a bunch before.
Yeah.
He's bigger than Madden. He had this stretch against me over a couple years where he's winning at like a 90% clip. All of a sudden, like I've just taken back the throne, and I must have won like the last 7 or 8 at least.
Oh
honestly.
yeah, so it literally is the run.
Yeah,
dude.
it's on the run right now, real confident. Like, it's just like every game, yeah, like a throw, run, whatever I need to do. Against
Really,
anybody,
dude?
too, not just him.
It's
Anybody. Who comes my
anybody
way.
with any team you're playing.
Any team. Randoms, obviously.
Yeah. All right, cool. Just making sure. Like picking the Oilers every time.
But yeah, dude, it's been a while, too, since we've had a sports gaming corner. So.
Yeah, literally, I guess the NFL
baseball?
draft.
Or was it the NFL draft?
Yeah, we did one for the draft leading up to the fantasy draft.
Right. Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
TCA
So,
fantasy draft.
I mean, we're week 13, about to be 14, so needless to say, overdue.
That's too high.
And
dude.
no, but actually, it's just sick with the classic controls. Like, I actually have a chance to like win, like, which is just crazy. Like,
yeah, it's interesting. I haven't touched the classic controls like since back in the day.
yeah,
But you said Matt uses them too, right?
yes.
But you're beating Matt.
I did beat him, but then I beat Benny once in his shootout, and then he won, I think, 2 other times. Close games, though, but it's like, just that it's
Yeah.
competitive. It's not like
Dude.
like another one.
One. 6-0. What's going on, dude?
But speaking of Matt and everyone else, what do we got in the comments? Something about Southern California, catering to Michael Butka, our producer of the show.
Oh, dude. Yeah, we have a ton. Oh. Okay. All right. Hold on. Let's see what we got here for Michael Buckta. Obviously, the rumbles of California now. He says, Barnes, can we get you a glorious mansion in Newport Beach with a beautiful view of the Pacific Ocean so that way he can come visit once a year for 6 to 9 days? Who's with me, dude? And you would think that he would want the house so he can just go whenever.
If you want to get me the house, Michael, by all means, let's go, right? That'd be a nice little summer home, no?
Absolutely, dude. And he also says, here's some sports stuff here. He says, also, the Steelers' offense looked explosive yesterday. We keep playing like this. We just might win it all.
Impressive stuff after Russell Wilson and the boys, and obviously we'll talk about it, but over 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, 40 points. Can't say we've said that too many times about the Steelers the last couple of years. So an impressive performance, a division game as well, Tony.
I know, which was so crazy. The high scoring, you would think. Maybe the defense doesn't matter. And he says he wouldn't mind staying Pebble Beach in San Francisco as long as I drive away to Southern California afterwards. And he says, think of it here, Brian. The weather, the beaches, the palm trees, the food, the beer, and the
I knew he was going to finish it out with the women. I just
the
knew it.
women, dude.
But your thoughts
That's
on
what he
the
likes.
San Francisco multi-days? I mean, do you have that in you, Tony? Or is it only if there's like sporting events we're going to each day?
I mean, multiple days, like 3.
I guess 2 would be
2 days, I think, is reason. Yeah,
2 games. So otherwise, I mean,
2
what else are we doing
days, 2
there, right?
games. Maybe something
The
else,
Golden
right?
Gate. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to walk that thing though. It's long. You think you would think it was sick, honestly? Walking the Golden Gate?
Yeah, I think so. I think it would be kind of cool experience. I mean, you kind of have to do it if you're there, I guess,
Walking
right?
the Golden Gate or the Alcatraz tour? You definitely are going to say
Alcatraz
Alcatraz.
tour. Yeah, come in with the hell, dude. That's sick, dude. Alcatraz is way cooler.
No, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not about that, but I think those 2 things I would be okay with doing. Like, it just that's so much better than the museum. Like, let's get the museum and the art gallery out of here. But like tours like that or walking, like, it sounds a lot better.
I don't
to
even
me.
know. Are there like what? Does San Francisco like? Do they offer museums? Do they have museums?
I mean, I'm
San
just
Francisco?
assuming they must have a load of them. Just a big city, right? I mean, all big cities have museums. Like,
Yeah, that's true. I guess. Yeah.
what else we got?
Speaking of big cities, big museums, Josh B says, "Yo, fam, hope you all had a great holiday weekend. Back on the grind, absolutely.
Josh
Hashtag
B.
TCA.
Let's
hashtag
go.
Sports
Hitting
Board,
that parlay.
hashtag
The
DTV,
parlay, dude.
The parlay, dude, is right. Always love that. Seeing your boys hit it. Matthew Gabriel says, come on. Oh, so you had another piece of cake, huh?
Oh, wow.
Dude. I had 1 piece each of 3 pies, so.
Oh, on Thanksgiving, you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I had this pumpkin cheesecake. I haven't had one of those in
yeah?
a while. Banging. over the
Really?
Weekend, yeah.
Homemade or?
Yeah.
Really?
Sam's aunt made it. Yeah.
Oh,
it was
that's
awesome.
great, dude.
Yeah.
Leftovers?
No leftovers. Oh, apple pie as well with
the ice cream.
vanilla.
Oh,
yes.
dude. All right, then we have Ernie. He says, "You're dude." And then Kev Dude in the house. I haven't seen Kev Dude in a long time, dude. Let's go. He says, "Guess who's back?" And we want the smoked #68.
Let's go, Kev Dude. Great to have him back in the building.
Absolutely. My mother, German apple cake was what I had, dude.
You know what's odd?
What?
We got a couple more comments, but they're not showing up on your screen. That's kind of odd. And it wasn't like just it was just a scrolling situation. Scrolling
down.
situation.
Kev Dude Barnes. That hat is a thing of beauty.
You know it, brother.
And then he says,
what was that?
It says, Tony, what a glorious mustache, dude. Thank you, Kev.
Some things never change, right?
I really appreciate that. Yeah, exactly, dude. You know.
But a lot to get to. Let's go to the world of the National Football League.
He wants Jefferson, climbs the ladder. Oh my goodness! Justin Jefferson, the catch of his life.
Burrow fires, intercepted, picked off at a pick six. Mika Fitzpatrick, an absolute ball hawk.
Niners twist up front and get to Tagovailoa. Bosa again. Mahomes escaping on the move, stops, spins, flips it forward for the touchdown.
Stop it.
Aaron Jones. Oh, what a tackle! Quincy Williams with a pile driver.
Also, Tony, by the way, and this, I thought we were done with that. I should be getting sound bites of Santa chuckling. But how could I forget? The great Aaron Rodgers turns 41 today after putting the finishing touches yesterday on yet another Jet loss, 26-21 to Seattle. A game that they led, a game that featured Leonard Williams, the former Jet first-round lineman from the University of Southern Cal, 92-yard pick six. Can't say I can recall seeing someone that big going the distance on a pick six. Like, that was unbelievable. It was just typical, Jet fashion. You have the 21-16 lead. At one point, 14-0 over Seattle. But of course, again, getting shut out second half and falling to 3-9. I know Jay was upset, but it seemed like in the old sports group chat, everyone else was kind of on the other side of things here, saying that this is what the best thing for this team is, to lose and have a better draft pick, because it's very evident, Tony, that this thing really needs to be torn down to the studs, and very few players should remain relative to the size of the roster, by the time the season is over, just to get different culture in there.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like that there is there is a significant multitude of significant issues here.
You're not gonna say happy birthday to Rodgers, by the way, though?
I could care less, honestly, dude. All right, what is it? 42?
41.
41.
So he's got 5 or 6 years left, right?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah,
probably,
dude.
Did you see press conference? They asked him like, "Are you going to be the starting quarterback like for the remainder of the season?" He says like, "We'll see."
No, I thought
Like-
it was they asked the coach, and he said, "No, I'm not gonna make that change right now." Like, leaving the door open.
Oh, maybe they did that too, but they asked
and
Rodgers
as
too.
well,
They
he
asked
said, "We'll
Rodgers,
see."
and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know." It's like, damn, dude, like.
Well, I mean, come on, like, but it's like it's funny, like, it really actually doesn't make sense, and like, too bad like Jordan Travis isn't healthy. Like, it would be interesting to see what he has to bring to the table. But obviously, Rodgers and Tyrod, they're not going to be your starting quarterback next year, so it's not like getting Tyrod a look, would help anything. And I think honestly, this Jet team would probably play better with Tyrod. So I hope that they just keep Rodgers in there. And I just think it's nonsense when, you're talking about, oh, no, we want to like win as many of these games on the stretch. Why? Well, I mean, the last thing this team needs is to, instead of having a top 5 pick potentially, to be like 10 or 12 with so many needs and just in need of such a culture change. And I know everybody's nervous about developing a quarterback, but I think it's just an absolute must with this first pick, with a new coach and a new GM, that they have to select a quarterback and go with a guy that they can grow with and build. And finally Finally build and win with the guy that they draft. They have to do it.
Are you at all concerned though that like they haven't been good at doing that?
But
So
that's
it's like,
but yeah. So no. So we're not good at something. So we're just gonna
Right.
give up on it. No, that's it. That's how we get back to the promised land.
well, I guess another way would be to try to trade for a quarterback right now.
Who though? You know what I mean? And it's like I know I had
Yeah.
suggested Cousins before, but
That's
he's on
not good.
He's on the opposite of the run. 4 interceptions yesterday. No, he's opening the door
yeah,
for
it
Baker,
is.
and we talk about the door opening, what happens,
Rains and
and,
pours. Yep.
all of that, and Michael Bucka texting me, Tony,
Stop it.
pleading about the Newport Beach house. And it's like Michael. I mean, yes, I would love that, but I mean, maybe when XRP goes up to 100, then we'll talk about that. Okay.
Oh yeah, that'd be good, dude.
That would be good, dude. But yeah, Tony, I mean, you can't actually be suggesting not drafting a quarterback though here in the offseason. I mean, don't you just like you get the right guys in and you do it? I mean, what's the attractive alternative here?
No, I mean I'm just kind of adding a
Shooting
different
the shit.
perspective.
And
I'm
focusing
not-
on the watch and just saying nonsense.
Yeah,
No,
no,
I'm just
I
kidding.
wasn't keeping the right time, dude. I don't know what's
New
going
watch, by the way?
on. No, it's actually a really old watch.
Old
dude.
watch.
Yeah,
Haven't
yeah.
used it recently?
No.
Just having trouble with the time setter, basically.
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha,
basically.
gotcha.
I think it's getting kind of screwed up because of the dates, 31 days, not last month. It gets kind of confused, day behind, whatever. But I don't know. I mean, I don't really think that there isn't really someone around the league you can grab. Like, who are you going to take?
Grab
that's-
and grow with.
Right, exactly.
No one.
Like, no one. Like, it's not going to be, I know Dawn's going to be a free agent. That's probably a terrible idea. People rumbling about Geno maybe back in for the Jets. That's probably a bad idea as well.
I would do Trevor Lawrence, but I don't think they're going to do that.
I don't think they would do that either.
But that would be
That would
something
be
that
sick.
would be interesting.
I would be very interested in that.
Yeah.
Would you rather draft or Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence, but we're not going to get Trevor Lawrence. But just because, like, you know what he is, and I know everything has been great, but I just say get him a good coaching staff, organizational structure, and a good culture. And I think that's something that gets lost in this. Oh, I mean, the Jets, they have all these good players. Like, why are they not winning? There's no culture.
There's no
There's
How
no
about a
identity.
fucking coach? Some
Yeah.
leadership,
Yeah.
Like, there is none, dude. So, yeah, that is pretty interesting. What would you prioritize? If let's say you're the GM of the Jets right now, you're talking like first day, coach, bang.
I mean, yeah, I mean that you have to because
Yeah.
the coach sets the tone, and then you're obviously gonna get with this new front office group and really, get going on scouting and identify what players that are coming into this league are going to be part of your building blocks, and also what guys you currently have now that maybe you thought would be part of the future that may not be. So I think there's a lot of decisions to be made. But yeah, that's definitely where it starts. With the culture piece, and it was interesting. My cousins that were there, they're the ones. We went to the Jet game, and that's like still all their team, and they're actually all in. They want Rex, which is interesting.
Really?
Yeah, and they're diehards, watching every game.
Yeah. I feel like almost to what you were saying though, maybe it was last week or something, where you're kind of getting pulled into his show. Because it is. I mean, I guess he does come from a time where the Jets were better, but at the end of the day, I mean, he didn't really leave on good terms, right? Like,
No, I mean, they weren't doing the best moves in the front office, but it just seems like there's a ceiling with him. And even if he comes in and gets the defense all jacked up, it just seems like at the end of the day, are we really going to win? Like the Jets winning a Super Bowl, how ridiculous does that sound? But it's just like, is that even a possibility with him as a coach? I mean, it just doesn't feel like it. So if it's not, then it's like, we just want to make a couple wild cards with him just to like do something. I don't know. I mean, I just think for development of a quarterback too, having a defensive head coach, is that the right thing to do?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I would say if I choose between Rex and someone, I would go with anyone else. To be honest, dude. Like, I just think that he's also just bringing in like that sideshow like into New York. Like, it's just going to be more outside noise for the organization, for the fan base, the players, whatever. Just like when Rodgers came in, like he came in with a lot of excess garbage. His nonsense of leaving the desert, missing training camp, the dark rooms, the ayahuasca, the former MVP. He's won the Super Bowl. He wants to do it somewhere else now. What happened? Like, I don't know. It's just like a whole lot of hoopla. And it's just like that creates, I think, more pressure on these players. And I don't know, dude. Not for nothing. Like, if Rex decides to bail, like things aren't going well, like then you're screwed. You're in the same situation where Aaron Rodgers is right now with the Jets. Like, things aren't going well. He's kind of bailing. Like, this is it, dude. Like, so I don't know. I would try and get someone else, dude.
And it's interesting. You know who else is on board with that is Joe Beningo. From WFAN. He always complains of the Jets. He said he wants Rex too, but
that's wild. Are we wrong?
I don't think we're wrong because it's like, yes, I guess you could technically have like a strong offensive coordinator, but can we trust him to put that type of staff together? That's the thing too, Tony. It's not about the coach, like it is about the coach, but also you need a strong staff. And I feel like we haven't had strong staffs. The offensive coordinators have been laughable that have been the Jets offensive coordinators. Like, it's a joke. So it's like, if you're going to go defense, maybe you think there's a culture shift, whatever, then you need to be strong on the offensive side. But it's like, just thinking about the guys that are out there, like even, Aaron Glenn, the Lions defensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator, Mike Vrabel. I don't think any of those guys would take the Jet job. So it's just like, I think it's like, it's one thing or the other. It's either a retread or a guy that, we're not really familiar with. But some people think that it's important to have somebody who's just a veteran coach, who's coached a lot of games, who knows what they're doing. But if you had to say, and I know it's about specifically who, but do you think that it's necessarily important to, like I'm saying, have that offensive coach just to grow with the quarterback that you're going to select, or are you open to bringing in a defensive-minded guy?
I guess an offensive coach. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, for me, watching the Jets this year, I feel like that is a big deal. Their inability to score that is what's laughable,
Right.
So yeah, offensive head coach, I suppose, which would take Vrabel out of the equation, I suppose. But because I like Mike Vrabel. Do you think because he's nowhere right now, right?
No.
You think he'd be hired as a defensive coordinator?
I think he's going to be hired as a head coach somewhere. So the Jets, of course, will be at the bottom of the barrel,
naturally,
of course. So yeah, I think go offense and like I said, get, a GM and coach that are on the same page. And even with stuff as small as staff hirings, let's have a strong staff and just go from there. But, it just feels like we're so far away from that. So that's why at least two, I think, Tony, with a prospective head coach, Jets lose out, get a top 5 pick. I think it makes the job a lot more attractive.
Yeah, I think so, dude. Josh being here seems completely lost. Who knows what the heck is ever going to fix this organization? And you said Super Bowl appearance. He says never in our lifetime.
I mean, it seems like it. He also texted us big screen day, so I don't know if that means that he has us on the big screen at home. You think that's what it means?
I would think that's what that means.
But I thought we would have got a screenshot. Now I'm sure he'll send one. But you know what I mean? Maybe a little groggy on this Monday, right?
Yeah, I think so.
A lot of turkey over the weekend.
Tired, probably with the kids, the family, the long weekend.
Corporate.
Never off. Exactly. Answering emails, probably still. Oh.
And before we move on from this game, because there's a lot of good football to talk about, Tony.
Oh, true. Yeah.
What was your thoughts on Jay? I feel like he was getting a little hurt. Group chat. Seems like he still wants to win. I mean, what do you think about that?
Dude.
I mean, we understand he's a diehard fan, but feels like he's not taking the long-term approach here, or no?
No. I mean, I guess technically he's not, but he's like Don LaGreca, where he still wants the Giants to win and stuff.
But I can't see it though. I don't see the light with that stuff. I just don't. I really don't. When you're this far away, removed from having any chance of anything, I just don't see why you would want to win, especially with a quarterback like Rodgers that's not going to be your quarterback next year.
Yeah, but I think that in his mind there is still a chance.
There's no way.
They could catch
absolutely
fire,
not.
dude.
Just absolutely
he's thinking to himself, but it's like Rodgers, there's talent around him, dude. You never know.
No, it's the worst thing. Like I said, the culture, Tony. That's what they need. And I think that's getting overlooked. Everyone looks at other areas, coaching, what players you have. How about just a culture? I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. Dan Campbell, great culture.
Speaking of Dan Campbell, that was the first game on Thanksgiving, which seems like it was 3 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, it does.
But we had the Lions, up big in this one.
I can't with this game.
16-0 at half, end up holding on 23-20. ended up being Matt Eberflus's last game as head coach. As the clock's winding down, they're in range for a long field goal. Clock expires without an attempt. Bears lose 6 in a row. Like I said, he gets canned. And it's funny, recently we've seen a lot of bad football in New York, whether it's the Jets or the Giants. I don't think I've ever seen a coach like what Eberflus has done, stretch run here. Think about what started this losing streak was a Hail Mary. Have you ever seen such ineptitude from a head coach?
No, dude, never. And I don't want to hear about rookie quarterback, like he should have no, dude, like that was totally on the coach there. That was on Matt over there, dude. Like that was bad.
It's a shame because Caleb Williams, had a decent game. I mean, I guess a lot of incompletions, but 256, 3 touchdowns, didn't turn it over. Was sacked 5 times, and leading receiver DJ Moore, who had been quiet in recent weeks, 8 for 97 in a score. Keenan Allen also had 2 touchdowns, and he's a pending free agent and has been saying that he would like to come back to Chicago. Probably only has a couple years left as he's on the wrong side of 30. But for the Lions here, they don't play their best game. Good start, kind of taper off. Second half only scored 7 points, outscored 20-7. But win their 11th straight game. We've seen similar things like the Chiefs playing down their competition. Usually the Lions don't do this, but Thanksgiving, the divisional game, and they were even trying out Penny Sewell rolling out on a pass, the left tackle who ended up getting sacked. But what did you make of this for the Lions? Any reason to be concerned, or it's just like, here we go, another win, and just on to the next one?
Yeah, I think so, dude. I mean, at the end of the day, and I know you said they kind of played down. They struggled in the red zone a little bit. Jared Goff here, 21 of 34. That is an off week for him in terms of completions. We definitely see a higher completion percentage from him. But regardless, I think, the running game was still bread and butter. So, I feel like that is the start of their offense. So, I wouldn't really worry too much about it. And again, I just feel like that coaching staff, you mentioned, Penny Sewell getting kind of a reception here. They're not shy of being creative. So
right.
I think they're fine, dude.
By the way, speaking of the running, 33 carries, 194 yards, 5.9 yards per carry. Montgomery leading the way with 88 yards, Gibbs with 87. Goff was 21 of 34, 221, 2 touchdowns, both of those to Sam Laporta, who had one of your interesting fantasy lines. 3 receptions, 6 yards, but the 2 touchdowns. And Jahmyr Gibbs had a fumble, almost cost the Lions, but doesn't end up doing so. So here they are, 11-1, tied for the best record in the league.
Crazy.
And just wanted to take a peek here of what's coming up next. Oh, I believe Thursday night against Green Bay.
Wow, dude.
And that game is in Detroit. But I think that's going to be a fascinating divisional game, Tony.
Yes, absolutely, dude. Lambeau, who do you got? Real quick.
I actually, it's at Ford Field.
Oh, it's at Ford Field.
But I actually do like the Packers in this one. And we'll get to their game in a second. What about you?
I would take the Lions.
But don't you think, though, it's like there's no way rest of the year they just win out Super Bowl done. They're going to.
How could you say there's no way, though? There is a way.
Well, there is a way, but I'm saying I'm just not expecting there.
Right.
I'm not saying they still can't win the Super Bowl. I don't think they're just going to go the rest of the season. Like, I don't know if that's ever happened in NFL history. Lose the first game of the season, win every game, win the Super Bowl. Definitely not.
Yeah, no, I would also imagine not, but I think that they could do it one, and also I don't know. I just feel like Packers sometimes struggle to score.
Yeah,
Love
I
with
don't
the
know.
picks.
Love's been playing well the last couple of weeks. Jacobs has been running well, so
they've been playing really well.
It should be a great game. We've seen some fascinating games between them. Remember the Hail Mary game with Aaron Rodgers? That was a Thursday night football game as well, way back.
That was sick, dude.
Yeah, that was awesome. Honestly, I believe it was to Richard Rodgers as well.
Oh yeah,
who caught the touchdown. But yeah, that must have been 8 years ago at least. We saw the Cowboys win their second consecutive divisional game, Tony.
Wow.
First home win of the season, so Jerry gets a little Thanksgiving present here. 27-20. We had the overshown pick six. That's DeMarvion Overshown, someone who I wasn't familiar with.
Nope.
But, batting a screen pass in the air and then catching it, running it the distance. And the Giants had opportunities in this one, but could not capitalize. Cooper Rush played okay, only had 195 yards passing, but a touchdown. And it also seemed like this was the first game really in that I had really remembered seeing of the Cowboys. I know we haven't really focused on them since they've been struggling, where they committed to Dowdle and he delivered. I think this had to have been his. Do you have him for fantasy?
Yeah, pick him up.
Top rushing game of the year, 112, a touchdown. It doesn't seem likely, but it is crazy to say because not long ago, it seemed like they were on their way to, 12, 13 losses potentially, but Dallas still has a chance. And I know it's not likely, but at 5-7, they actually are still alive here, which is kind of crazy.
That is kind of crazy. You would think though that, I don't know what the rest of their schedule is like, but give me a
Monday Night Football. The way the Bengals have played, I would not rule out the Cowboys winning that game. And it's in Dallas, and I know 1-5, yes, but the Bengals, man, and we'll talk about it, but
I know they just keep finding ways to lose. You really can't, dude. You really can't. But in terms of this game here for the Giants Cowboys, I guess good for Dowdle. I'm sure they'll commit to him more. And Cooper Rush played pretty cleanly, I suppose. But
Drew Lock first start as a Giant.
Dude.
Great.
Wasn't great, dude. Again, he had a couple of those rushes. He had 4 carries, 57 yards. His mobility looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I don't know. Obviously, Giants, they're another team that, trying to lose out, basically.
Right. So, I don't want to hear that, Dable and Shane are coming back. Essentially, if they're going to lose out, literally lose every single game. There's no way that they're coming back.
What do you think about Drew Lock, though?
He sucks.
Sucks.
I guess he's a backup quarterback, like a mediocre one. It's not like having Jonathan Quick as your backup goalie.
No, it is not.
The
dude.
polar opposite. And we did see in somewhat of a polar feel in Green Bay Thanksgiving night, the snow. Green Bay winning 30-17, the cold weather. Jordan Love playing a great game here, 21 of 28, 274, 2 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs also had a rushing touchdown as well. Their leading receiver here, Tucker Kraft, 6 for 78 yards. Packers, after a, I believe, 1-2 start, have won 8 of 9.
Yeah, dude, they've certainly come around.
Yeah.
Again, we talked about briefly, you said, Jordan Love kind of, playing better these past few weeks. I think he's certainly, risen the occasion. We mentioned the interceptions, had none here, which, obviously turnovers.
No sacks either.
No sacks either. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Good line, which is why you get Jones running so well also. And then, I just feel like the Dolphins here, I guess they just kind of fizzed out. I guess they had a couple turnovers. They had that, Washington fumbled, I think, early in the game.
They had a 4th down at the end of the game. They didn't convert.
They didn't convert on. Yeah, just, I don't know. They just came out, I think, a little flat, dude. And I know Tua's line was still good, but.
Great. 37 46, 365, 2 touchdowns, sacked 5 times.
37 of what?
46.
46.
A lot of pass attempts.
Man.
But I think also that's a telltale of why they didn't win. 14 rushes, 39 yards. You're not going to win that
mix it up. Yeah, definitely not, dude. So it should be interesting to see, I guess, where they go, because they're another team also that seemed like they were kind of making a little bit of a run. But obviously here, Packers, star of the show, good for them. For a game that did kind of seem like Dolphins could come back, they do end up winning the Packers. That is pretty emphatically. So you got to feel pretty good, dude, if you're Ernie.
Yeah. No, I think the Packer rolling. And I think as we've seen, history has shown, anytime an opposing team has to go into Lambeau Field for a playoff game, it could be a tough spot. I don't know if they'll get that opportunity though with the Lions, but if they were able, to win, that game on Thursday, that would get them one game closer. So still possible, but probably would have to run the table in order to get a chance to win the NFC North, especially with the Vikings having 10 wins as well. By the way, the Dolphins, Jets next week, and then at Texans, home to 49ers, who, aren't the 49ers this year, that's for sure. At Browns, and then at Jets. So most likely, if Miami wants to make the playoffs, they will have to win the remaining 5 games, which doesn't appear likely, but they do have a couple opportunities. It's just there are some spots where you could definitely see them slipping up as well.
Definitely. I mean, Niners is interesting. Texans obviously is kind of a toss up, but I mean, I could right now they could win 4 games. Like,
Yeah, especially the Jets twice. I mean,
Jets
that's a
twice
gift
is
from
great,
God.
dude.
Down the stretch, that's for sure.
yeah.
But and then we see the Chiefs, and I knew it was going to be like this by the skin of their teeth. And another debacle here: the coaching, the kick, the botch snap. I mean, what did you make? I think they were up at one point, like it was 10-3, and then I think 16-3.
Yep.
But what did you make of the the Chiefs hanging on by a thread over the Raiders here, 11-1?
I mean, I guess I'm not surprised, dude. Right? I mean, this is literally we talk about this every single freaking week, man. That the Chiefs, against no matter who they play, it is going to be a tight game. And I guess that's just what they want to do. Because they literally, it really is like almost like an anomaly to me. Like I really don't understand it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like when people first started saying, oh, like they're the worst undefeated team, they're the worst 10-1 team like that the NFL's ever seen. It's like, well, what does that even mean? And it's like you watch these games and they really are, dude. Like they really play down to their opponents. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I guess again, 300 yards through the air, but 26 of 46.
A lot of incompletions.
A lot of incompletions, dude. And I kind of question why, because I mean, again, these guys, the receiving core is talented. Hopkins, is someone who is a difference maker. Obviously, having 4 receptions for 90 yards here. But I mean, again, like you look at that stat line, and that's what the Chiefs have been doing all year long. They don't play great in these games, but like when it comes down to it, and they need a big play, like they always have it. Like they always have it in their back pocket, a long reception to Hopkins, like Mahomes rushing 20 yards to get a first down to keep a drive alive, blocking field goals, like those it always happens, dude. So I guess I'm not really surprised. And if they go on to win the Super Bowl, I guess I still wouldn't be surprised. But obviously I don't think they will. So.
This is a Zach Wilson 2.0.
But come on, dude.
They're showing flaws.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. But I'm just saying.
The competitiveness around the
I will
league.
say, though, the way that, I guess we have seen them play like this before, and then they haven't beaten them in the playoffs. But the way the Bills are playing, it does make you feel like this could be the year that they finally get them in the playoffs.
Yeah, dude. And then even if they do, if they don't, if it is Detroit, like in the Super Bowl, like
right. But I mean, still, the Super Bowl. That's at that point. You know what I mean? Anything can happen in the Super Bowl.
That's true. But would you not be betting Detroit?
I don't. It's just so hard because I just feel like barely. You look at all the games he started postseason. He just doesn't lose that much.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of like nuts. Like we want to talk about covering. Like covering, is a different thing. But just in terms of a money line win,
clearly
hard to go against Mahomes.
What do you think the line would be set at if it was Lions Chiefs Super Bowl?
Lions -1. It's gonna be like when the Niners have played the Chiefs. It's always like a small spread.
Yeah.
All right. And we did mention this, in the open, the Chargers doing the Bucks a solid for the Baker run.
Yeah, baby.
Winning 17-13 in Atlanta, 3rd straight loss for the Falcons. Kirk Cousins, 4 picks, and they were talking about it on Boomer and Gio this morning. Maybe the Falcons might consider benching Kirk Cousins. He's had a couple bad games in a row here. Obviously, the 3-game losing streak. And it's a shame because Bijan had a great game, 100 yards and a score. Their leading receiver was McLeod, 4 for 95. But they only score 6 points in the second half, and just can't get the job done. And the Chargers are able to beat them by throwing for 131 yards. No offensive touchdowns.
Unbelievable.
And yet they find themselves victorious in this one and still had the 66-yard touchdown return, for the only touchdown for them in this game. But what did you make here of the Falcons losing yet another game and the Chargers I think it's now 5 out of 6 games that they've won.
I mean, yes, good for the Chargers, I guess, but we've talked about it. Their wins aren't necessarily impressive, and against great teams. But I guess for Atlanta here, I mean, you kind of laid it down. I mean, clearly, it's like Kirk Cousins, 4 picks. Like, what are we doing over here? You know?
Yeah.
Understand, but still, I mean, people are in your face. Offensive lines, the pocket's collapsing. Whatever. Like, you're a veteran quarterback. You should be making good decisions here. Like, what are you doing? And it's like, not for nothing, Atlanta did Kirk Cousins specifically, like, started the season off good.
Right.
So I don't really know what necessarily is going on with him. But I guess, I mean, if you're Atlanta, which is so crazy because you're, in position to win your division, but you're talking about starting, Michael Penix. So it's like, I don't know. I think it's a weird scenario there for the Falcons. I almost would still start Cousins.
No touchdowns, 6 picks, last 3 starts. It just seems like, does Penix provide a spark, save the season? Because it just doesn't feel like this is headed in the right direction. And I feel like it seemed like there was no way, the way this season started, it seemed like there was no way that you could even play Michael Penix. But that door has been opened. You want to just jump right into it.
Let's see. Falcons next week. What do we got, dude? Is it the Bucks yet? No. They don't play the Bucks. It's the Vikings. Oh,
That's a 1 o'clock?
In
Minnesota.
1 o'clock in Minnesota. I mean, how do you not like Cousins tribute video, big revenge spot?
It just like, I mean, I guess you could start him, and then if like he does poor,
Yeah,
make the switch. But it seems like, you lost 3 in a row. You're kind of at a crossroads here where you really need to win next game. Obviously, you could still make the playoffs if you don't, but you've just backed yourself in a big corner if you don't.
Yeah, no, you definitely did, dude. But I guess if you do get backed in that corner, I mean, those last 4 games, if you do end up having to start Michael Penix for those 4 games, I mean, Raiders, Giants, Commanders, Panthers, I mean, you're set up for some victories there.
Yeah.
Right?
But for you, like, to get your run with Baker, who would you rather see start for the Falcons?
That's a great question. I mean, I guess Cousins.
Just because he's not playing well recently, could
yeah.
continue to spiral.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would think that if Penix gets the start, he's going to be good. I don't know about great. I don't know if he's going to be a difference maker to win you games, big moments, opportunities, but he's going to be good.
Spark,
yeah,
energy.
exactly. It's going to be something.
Yeah, no, I agree. So it'd be interesting to see, what they do there. Big Sunday night football game, Chargers Chiefs next week on NBC. So that should be a good one. And really, that feels like a game where the Chiefs could be vulnerable to losing one. Tough defense. Great coach in Harbaugh. So we'll have to see about that. Tony loves talking about the Harbaughs.
Harbaugh!
But you have to love the Harbaughs compared to the Kelseys, right?
Oh yeah.
Like there's nothing wrong with the Harbaughs. Maybe they're talked about a little too much, but like they didn't do anything.
Right. I mean, I don't think they're. I don't think so. I mean, I just don't like. I don't know. Like you were just really jacked up. Like I just wasn't as jacked up. Like it wasn't like I hate them.
Well, I don't know. For some reason, I don't know if it's like the uniforms or just like what it is, but I've always kind of like the Chargers are kind of like an interesting team, and like I feel like they went through a lull period after the glory days with Philip Rivers. Besides, obviously getting to the Super Bowl. But, and I think also maybe they've never won a title as well. So I've always kind of wanted to see them turn it around. So that's why I just think it's impressive what he's done so quickly.
Yeah.
First year as coach.
No, yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with that. I mean, growing up, the Chargers were that cool team.
Yeah. LT,
was
dude.
The blacked out visor. Yeah, dude. It was dope. But yeah, Philip Rivers, too.
Sean Merriman.
Did they have Sproles too?
Yes,
they had Sproles,
and
dude.
Michael Turner before he went to Atlanta.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that there's a lot of juice there, and the logo, the colors,
the
that
powder
blue,
blues,
dude.
Boomer talking power blues, of course.
It's sick, dude.
The Texans get another win before their bye here, 8th of the year, 23-20 over Jacksonville, a game where Trevor Lawrence left with a concussion, and they had to turn to Mac Jones early. But yet, Mixon did have 100 yards rushing and a touchdown, and Nico Collins led the way, 8 for 119. Dalton Schultz had a touchdown. But Stroud, solid, but not great. And obviously a 2-10 Jacksonville team, you expected more of an emphatic win, but the Texans do have a 2-game lead in their division. A game with the Dolphins coming up this week before a big Saturday game against the Chiefs in Kansas City. And then they also have to face the Ravens before finishing up with the Titans. But what do you think here? I mean, it seems like every week, almost similar to the Chiefs, we get the same thing out of the Texans where, they're winning more games than they're losing, but it's always tight no matter who the opponent is. I mean, what do you make of this win?
Yeah, it's, again, like kind of what you were saying. I mean, right now, the Texans don't seem like they're, a team that can control a game against a better team around the league. And I don't know, I don't know. I feel like each week it's something almost different too. Like sometimes Stroud doesn't play well,
right?
Which obviously, this game, nothing crazy, but I mean, good enough for a victory, obviously. But it's like give up 20 points to Jacksonville, letting Mac Jones like throw 235 yards. Like, what's your no sacks? Like, what are we doing? What's the defense doing? What's the secondary? What's the defensive line? Like, where's the pressure?
Where's D'Amico Ryans in all this?
Yeah, like that to me is kind of troublesome because, like, obviously Jags struggling team to begin with, struggling to score to begin with, and then throw Mac Jones in there. Like if this game was 23-0 or 23-7, like that's like okay, like they have a defense that can handle like and stop drives, But right now, like where was that? Like you said, you're getting outscored 14-7 in the fourth quarter. Again, against a better team. Like, they got the momentum in the fourth quarter. Like, you're probably going to lose that game.
Yeah. I mean, in the way that they've been playing, have you kind of switched your mind if we get that Chargers Texans game in Houston wildcard weekend that you would still take the Texans, or you on to Harbaugh to the Chargers, or is it a principal Zach Wilson type of thing?
It has nothing to do with Zach Wilson, dude. I would still take Texans.
I just don't see though. Like, I don't see how like they just scream to me like they're not winning a tough game. A tough game against a quality opponent.
Yeah, but so do the Chargers, though.
I don't know, though.
And I think that, I don't know, man. I think that C.J. Stroud is a better quarterback right now.
I mean, the way he's played, it's kind of been close. Like last year, I think he had a far better year.
Yeah.
But it's interesting for sure. So, right now that would still be the matchup, in the AFC, the 4-5 game. And yeah, I mean, you look at Stroud, like that's okay, but I think everybody, was thinking, there would be maybe a couple less interceptions, a couple more touchdowns, and I don't think Herbert's numbers are probably lower, but I mean, one pick, that's 8 less interceptions.
That's great.
There's your value right there. And they do a good job of running the ball as well, playing good defense. And we saw the Vikings 23-22 over the Cards here. So the Vikings have won 10 out of their first 12 games.
Wow.
Cards have dropped their last 2 to fall into second place in the NFC West here. Sam Darnold, 21-31, 2 touchdowns, no picks, sacked 5 times, and found Justin Jefferson 7 receptions for 99 yards. So the Vikings remain 1 game back of the Lions in the NFC North here. And this is a game that Arizona had a 6-point lead with 3:20 left, but they go on a drive late, which was capped off by an Aaron Jones receiving touchdown to take that 1-point lead and ultimately holding on to win here. What's your thoughts on Minnesota at 10-2 here?
Dude, they're fucking great.
Good defense has stepped up.
Great defense. I think great coaching. I mean,
O'Connell. Unbelievable.
Their red zone packages are always like impressed me.
Yeah.
And you can even see, honestly, if you're looking at some of the stat lines here, it's like, like Jefferson, Addison, your receivers are getting the bulk of the yardages, but then like it's that, 3-yard reception off of Aaron Jones for the touchdown. Like that's like that type of play, like defenses like have such a tough time like accounting for that because they're covering Jefferson, they're covering your receivers. But if you run a running back or have like a tight end chip block and then run like a route right across the goal line, like those are the plays you see that I think make the Vikings like super successful. And obviously for any defense, regardless of who you are, it's going to be obviously tough to defend. But this was a great game, dude. Obviously you can tell by the score here, but I mean, Murray did well, but as Murray does make mistakes, I mean, those 2 picks, like that's kind of like you look at those 2 turnovers, and that's the deciding factor. I mean, it's a 1-possession game. Donald was clean, Murray wasn't. And I don't know. That was kind of my take on Murray. I think all season. Cardinals not that great. Murray not that great.
It's crazy. I mean, I wouldn't, it's only a 1-game lead Seattle has, but it just seemed at one point in this season, two teams were headed in the opposite directions. Now they've flip-flopped, and it just seems like we always see this with Arizona down the stretch. Just no matter who the coach is, like just not winning these tight, big games that are going to decide who's in the playoffs and who's not. Obviously, they still have an opportunity here, but of course, you're going to have to do a better job of holding on to the ball. And also, Marvin Harrison Jr. had 5 for 60 and a touchdown, but I was talking about this with everybody yesterday. It's like, I've never seen somebody just not even come close to what he should get in terms of targets. Like, I think if he was getting the proper target share, consistent looks, he would have 1,500 yards receiving this season.
Yeah, you're probably right. He had 12 targets, 5 receptions. I mean, that's not.
Yeah, I
mean, that's more than Murray.
I mean, you look at it, I just feel like he's got to get the ball more. Overall in the season, 41 receptions, 606 yards. So maybe he'll just barely have 1,000 yards, but I just think he's a better player than that. I know you have Trey McBride who had 12 for 96, but if somehow you could come up with a way to get him the ball more, I think that would pay huge dividends in terms of their offense. And they did just sign James Conner over the weekend to that extension.
He's good.
The Commanders blow out the Titans 42-19. To snap that 3-game losing streak. And you look at it, Jaden Daniels, 206 through the air, 3 touchdowns, and they run for 267 yards on the ground. So without Austin Eckler, Chris Rodriguez Jr. filling in 94 yards in his score, Brian Robinson 103 in his score as well. Terry McLaurin, 8 for 73, 2 touchdowns. Zach Ertz, 3 for 35 and a touchdown as well. So improving that record to 8-5, right in the thick of things in that NFC playoff picture. Are the Commanders back, Tony?
Yeah, I would. I mean, yes, I would think so. This is a big get right spot. I mean, the Titans kind of suck, and it's just like, yeah. I mean, this is exactly what you would expect to see with the matchup with these two teams, and Titans pretty interesting. I mean, the Titans just didn't have the ball a shit ton, Not to mention the 2 fumbles as well, which is also not good. But I mean, the possession time was more than double. Titans coming in at under 20 minutes, Washington 40 minutes 13 seconds. I mean, and that's evident. And they couldn't even use Pollard. He only had 8 carries over the entire game because you were kind of early on. You're down. I mean, first quarter was 21-0. So Will Levis is forced to throw. He's not great at that. And there's 3 and outs, and it's just like Washington just played their game. So obviously good for them. Like I said, definitely a feel good win after 3 straight losses. And you have next week against the Saints in New Orleans, but then you're playing the Eagles. So I think you can get nice 2-game win streak going in there, some momentum,
nice
some feel good, dude.
Coming up.
Yeah, that's right.
The
12-15.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. Going to the bye with a win, you should feel really good, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Bucks get the win to go to 6-6, 26-23. Over the Carolina Panthers, a game they trailed with only 30 seconds remaining. And Baker briefly left this game with injury, and he was saying that he thought he had torn his Achilles. Obviously, luckily for the Bucks, he does not. And of course, this game, the sequence in overtime here, where you have the Bucks missing a field goal. And it was a deep one here from 55. But so the Carolina set up. All they need to do is field goal win. They fumble. Chuba Hubbard, I believe, fumbles and gives the Bucks great field position.
That was it.
And they win with a 30-yard field goal. So Carolina seems to be playing better. Obviously, it was tough. Baker kind of banged up in this one, but Bucky Irving leading the rushing department here, 152 and a touchdown, really has taken over that job from Rachaad White, who still had 76 yards, 236 yards as a team on the ground. I mean, it just seems like these last 2 weeks have been the beginning, Tony, of the run, and I know they will have to play better.
Run,
but they're right where they need to be at 6-6 after starting 4-6.
I'm rooting for the run, dude. Yeah, dude. I mean, this is the start. The back-to-back wins right here, and I mean, obviously, you kind of got away with one.
Yeah,
I guess. With the Hubbard fumble, but hey, I mean, you're not for nothing. You took advantage of an opportunity that was given to you to win. That's what good teams do. And yeah, Baker, you mentioned banged up, 21 of 33, 235 through the air, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. But I don't know, man. I mean, his offensive line, I think, was failing him a little bit. Obviously, sacked 4 times for a loss of 31 yards. Maybe try to get the ball out quicker. Maybe try and scramble a little bit more. I don't know. But regardless, I mean, Baker is playing that typical Baker gritty football, which I think is, a great example for his teammates. That's why you're seeing, Bucky Irving, running the ball so hard, is because they know that this team knows they're playing for a quarterback who's putting his body out there on the line and trying to make a run here. So let's fucking go, dude. I mean, I would say take this win. Get healthy, shake it off, dude. Bryce Young had a great game. I mean, almost 300 yards through the air, the 1 touchdown pass, no picks. And yeah, what looked like was about to be a loss, ended up being a victory. So like I said, be happy about it and figure it out, because this upcoming weekend you have the Raiders, dude.
Yeah, the Raiders before a tough game with the Chargers.
At the Chargers.
So you win that Raiders game 7-6, and then your 4 games are Chargers, Cowboys, Panthers, and Saints. Even if you just win 3 out of 4 of those, you're going to find yourself with 10 wins and probably the NFC South Divisional
That's right, dude.
Title. But the only thing is you have lost twice to the Falcons, so you can't have the tiebreaker. But like we said, seems like they're headed in the wrong direction. And it seemed like the Colts were headed in the wrong direction, but have won tight games the past 2 weeks, both by a point. But defeating the Patriots here 25-24. Anthony Richardson only 109 yards through the air, but did have 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown as well as 2 picks, but wasn't sacked as the Colts, kind of hang on by a thread here at 6-7, with an outside chance actually in that division as well as the wild card. And the Patriots had a chance to win this at the Horn. Joey Sly lined up for what would have been the longest field goal in NFL history. So you can only imagine how exhilarating that was for me watching that, because it just seemed like the record, here we go. Like, we don't get many opportunities at teams even attempting these kicks. Was right down the pipe, but maybe, 2-3 yards short. And it would have been funny too, just for the Patriots winning a game, hurting the draft, stock. But I do think they do have their quarterback though in Drake May, 24-30, a touchdown and a pick, sacked 4 times, and Stevenson did a good job on the ground.
Dude, 68 yards he went for.
With 68 yards.
Field goal.
Oh, for the for the field goal. That was crazy. But Sly has hit some long ones, but it's just obviously that was really pressing it. Kind of interesting. And when you look at these teams, it seems like, especially passing the ball, and even did a good job running the ball in this one, 59 yards, including a 41-yard run. But who do you think is set up, past this season? And I know, the Colts could still make the playoffs. Obviously, Patriots are not going to. But who do you think is set up better for the future going forward here?
That's a great question. I would think the Patriots,
just because they have the quarterback and, maybe a couple guys that could be part of the future. Stevenson, Christian Gonzalez, the corner's pretty good. Obviously I think the Colts have, if you take the quarterback position away, are much stronger at the other positions. But I think Richardson as a passer, remains a big question mark.
Yeah. And I think his health is still in question as well. Obviously he's been injured, quite a bit in his short time in the NFL. Also, I feel like the Patriots are just more likely to turn around as an organization,
But Mayo though, I don't know. As the coach.
Well, that's what I mean. I feel like even if it doesn't work out, like they'll get somebody new. Like that is a job that probably is pretty enticing for certain.
But Kraft, is he, a little beyond his years? Is he making the right decisions? I know he has his son Jonathan working with him as well. But.
At the end of the day, I think Kraft is someone who wants to win, right?
Yeah, and I think he's still hurting from Tommy, which was his unofficial son. The way that ended. Right?
Oh yeah,
having to see him win after Bill said he was shot.
Not good, dude.
Yeah, so gonna be interesting. Before we continue on, we did get a couple more comments in here. Matthew Gabriel calling for Michael Butka to coach the Jets, which would be interesting. I think it's safe to say, Tony, right? I think he would do a better job than Jeff Ulbrich, no?
I think so, yeah, dude. Definitely would bring in better people.
And then Josh B., I know this was a while ago, not sure which game he's referring to, but Revenge Law of Averages game might be
Cousins.
Parlay. Cousins.
Vikings.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And that is a good thought. He says he thinks Texans will be dangerous when crunch time comes. So clearly you texted him on the side about that. And then he says one of those teams you don't want to see in the playoffs. And then he says Baker in the Bucks. And I'm thinking he was talking about the Texans. But, I mean, would you at least give me, Tony, and I know I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, but I think you don't want to see Baker in the Bucks over Stroud and the Texans, no?
Yeah, probably not, dude. I feel like a playoff, like Mike
Baker,
Evans is gonna go. Yeah,
in the way the playoffs ended for the Bucks last year.
Oh yeah, dude, against
the
Detroit.
Lions,
yeah.
yes.
Damn.
And then Matthew says Tony reminds me of Baker Mayfield. He's like his spirit animal. And then Josh B says by the time the Pats are good, Ramondre would be moved on and older by then. And then Michael Theophil, that is, saying goats XRP baby. What can I say except you're welcome,
Michael Viaville?
Michael Theophil. Thank you, sir. And, you know, continuing down the scores here from yesterday, the Rams have a chance at their run. A disappointing loss the week before, but beating the Saints on the road here 21-14 as they get a Puka Nacua touchdown pass from Stafford in the fourth quarter. 9 minutes left. The difference in this one, 21-14. Williams had over 100 yards on the ground in the score. Nacua 5 for 56 and a touchdown. Stafford 14-24, 183, 2 scores. You know, we know the Saints have been a mess since winning those first 2 games, but I think this was huge, you know, for the Rams to win this game. And they do remain alive for this, you know, NFC West title here. Only 1 game back, you know, of Seattle.
Yeah, I don't know though.
I still though I don't know. I think they're better than Seattle. I know like Seattle won.
You're
but
probably
it's the
right.
Jets. Like it's like how much are we really going to take away from that game? You know.
Yeah, no, I get that, dude. But I don't know, man.
They play last week of the season though. That could be for the
Rams
the title.
Seahawks.
Yeah.
Wow, that's gonna be sick, dude.
Bills Rams next week 4:30 in
tough,
Inglewood. But I think that's a game that they probably have to win. You would think.
Yeah, right. I mean,
you could
depending
beat
on
the
what
Niners,
the Seahawks,
beat the Jets,
but,
beat the Cardinals, Rams,
yeah.
sure, but just to really kind of put yourself in a good position here.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you would want to win out. You would imagine. I mean, I guess just real quick, looking at where the Seahawks are going. I don't know if we did already. But regardless, Cardinals, Packers, Vikings, Bears.
That Seahawks Cardinals game is big. Cardinals are due to win, though. I feel like look ahead. I would take the Cardinals in that one, honestly.
Really?
I don't know. I just think like Seattle's just inconsistent.
And also, not for nothing, dude, but like, I guess you beat the Bears, but I don't know, dude. The Bears.
When's the last time they had a quarterback?
But it's like you got Packers, Vikings in the middle of that, dude. Those look like back-to-back losses to me.
For Seattle, you're saying?
Yeah.
So the Rams, the run.
It seems like the Rams do have the benefit of their schedule.
Yeah.
But I guess time will tell what happens, dude.
It must be because I have tabs open, but again, my computer just giving me fits.
How many tabs do you have open?
I can't even check. It's just that slow. Luckily, we have the old iPhone.
How big are the tabs? Like this freaking narrow on your window?
No, I can't. No. So they're like minimum. Like they're not even up on the screen. They're just like.
Oh, you have different windows open.
It's a mess, but it's okay. It's okay. We make it, Tony. We make it through.
Onward and upward.
What about Justin Tucker missing? I believe was it three kicks and an extra point. The Ravens losing 24-19, so 2 kicks in the extra point, right?
Yeah, 2 kicks total.
And the Eagles have just been on a roll here. I believe it's 8 straight wins. Barkley, another 100-yard rushing game and a touchdown. And it was only Lamar's second loss to an NFC opponent. And by the way, Saquon Barkley, 1 yard shy of 1,500, Tony.
Ridiculous.
With, 5 games left in this season.
Did he go get it?
Get what?
The 1,500?
The 1 yard? But I know you've been kind of ho-humming, in singing, the praises of Dan Campbell, but winning a tough game like this in Baltimore, especially against Lamar, who, like I said, had only lost to an NFC opponent once in his career. I think it's time to take Philadelphia seriously. I think they might be almost just as good as the Lions. I mean, they're one game back division record-wise, but the way they've been playing has been unbelievable.
Yeah, no, I mean, you really can't argue that. I mean, it just seems like, especially for a team that had the locker room troubles, Hurts, questionable. Also, Hurts' health was in question, shoulder injuries in the past. He's come out and he's been playing very clean. And obviously, I mean, we say it every week, it's because of Saquon Barkley, that attitude in the locker room, whatever is going on there, it's obviously working for him and the team. But not for nothing, dude. I mean, I don't want to blame one person on a loss, but I mean, Justin Tucker, leaves 7 points on the board.
I mean, what do you do? I mean, phantom injury, IR at this
7
point?
points, dude. 7 points.
I think he's missed 10 kicks, a career high.
And they keep trotting him out there every time, dude, and he looks pissed off. So I don't know, man. If what would you do?
I would go phantom IR. And then hopefully the time off, before the playoffs. What would you do, Tony?
I'd keep taking him out there, honestly. Let him go, dude.
What if he misses 5 field goals next week? Then are you phantom IR? I think phantom IR.
Phantom IR, I guess at that point.
Try to retool.
5, dude?
He's already
my
missed
God,
10
dude.
this season.
Oh, I really can't believe it, dude.
And I hate
really
to
is.
see it, too.
You really do.
Yeah.
Because it's just not for nothing, these kicks. I mean, I know it obviously takes more than just the kicker, but it does kind of these kicks that he's missing are boiling down to just him missing. There's no bobbled snaps, there's no crazy wind. And there's kicks we've seen him make with ease, at prior parts of his career. So it's tough, dude. It is tough to see.
Jay Bird saying Cooper DeJean is his hero. Textbook tackle on Henry was exquisite. Perfect rugby tackle, cheek to cheek, and swept the legs. And Michael Buck is saying if we win 3 out of our last 4 games, we have the AFC North locked up. That's obviously true, and the Steelers are absolutely rolling. There's no doubt about that. Tommy also saying, I'm late, boys. Salutations. Got to beat the Devs tonight. Absolutely.
Must win
so,
here.
Of course, always good to hear from Tommy. And speaking of the Steelers, 44-38 over Cincinnati. Russell Wilson, one of his best games in years, Tony. I think you could argue since he was a member of the Seattle Seahawks here. 29-38, 414 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, sacked twice, 10.9 yards per completion. George Pickens, 3 for 74 and a touchdown. Pat Freiermuth, a Tony favorite, 6 for 68 and a score.
Fantasy.
Najee Harris led the way in the rushing department, 16 for 75 and a score.
Picked up Wilson, too.
I had Wilson going as well. Jalen Warren also out of the backfield, 4 for 55. Najee Harris, 6 for 54. So Russ really spreading the ball out here. The Steelers are rolling at 9-3, and it looks like the Bengals, despite Joe Burrow having 30 touchdowns and 5 picks this year at 4-8, probably out of the playoffs. But we had been kind of, earning for this type of game out of Pittsburgh. It seemed like they had won a lot of tight games, a lot of Chris Boswell specials, Tony. But to drop 44 here, I mean, pretty impressive. I know Cincinnati's a mess right now, but 9-3 is 9-3, no?
9-3 is 9-3, and at the end of the day, you said it. Russell Wilson's best performance this year, even since Seattle. And it's I understand Bengals have been in shambles, but not for nothing. They do have the ability to score. We've gone over Chase's stats. We've gone over Burrow's stats as well, which are good. Great even. So, I mean, to come in here and to understand your game plan as an offense and to execute it perfectly, I mean, yeah, of course you're fucking hyped up, dude. You scored 44 points, which I imagine is the most points you scored in a game all year.
Oh, easily.
Yeah,
easily.
so yeah, dude, you want to be really fucking hyped.
And Michael Butka saying, keep that offense rolling. Defense keeps showing up when it matters. This team makes it matters. Then this team can go deep.
What?
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, definitely, dude.
Upcoming, though, the Browns, who did trip them up on Thursday Night Football a couple weeks ago in Pittsburgh.
Embarrassing.
That's going to be next week. And then you have the Eagles, so Battle of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. That's a tough game. Ravens Steelers Saturday night, or Saturday afternoon anyway, 4:30 on the 21st. And then Chiefs Steelers. Looks like that's a Christmas Day game. And then Bengals Steelers. So not the easiest schedule in the world. But I don't know. I still think that they've shown this year, and I guess the lead is a game and a half. That Pittsburgh is the best team in the AFC North, and I think they win this division.
Yeah, I think so, dude. I freaking love football on Christmas Day.
Yeah, sick.
Like, that is sick, dude. Do you think Mr. Bucked over here, though, it's like now he's all rah-rah about the Steelers?
Imagine if the Penguins start going on a run.
And then all of a
What are we
sudden...
gonna see? And then Hurley. We haven't heard anything about that, by the way.
I know,
3
dude.
losses in Maui. And I know they had the blowout win on Saturday.
Do you hear him say he's never going to do a tournament like that ever again?
With the Maui?
Yeah, that amount of games in a couple days is absurd.
But he also... So Jay Bird says Cooper DeJean looking like Reese Fabiani in his prime.
Oh, my
And then
gosh.
Michael wants me to picture this. The Steelers win the Super Bowl. You get your mansion in Newport Beach. I come visit you for a 6-day stay, and we do day trips, beaches, etc. Talk to the women.
Talk to the women, dude.
Michael Vodka jacked up here. I mean, listen, the Steelers look like they have a shot here. I mean, especially if they're going to score like that with that defense, with Tomlin. Now, I think you had said you would like the Ravens if they end up playing in the playoffs in Pittsburgh, but still feel that way, or kind of let's see what happens the next time they play in a couple weeks?
Yeah, I guess let's see what happens, dude.
Steelers look
It's
like
going to
they're
be a
heading
game,
in
dude,
the right
obviously.
direction here.
Yeah, no, absolutely, dude. Sorry, Jay's texting me. He wants me to pull up this freaking tackle of Cooper DeJean, dude.
Well, while you're looking for that Cooper DeJean tackle, Tony, the Buffalo Bills 35-10 over the San Francisco 49ers, clinching the AFC East with 5 games remaining. Quite a feat. And I'm guessing, Tony, that you saw the Allen to Allen touchdown.
I did see the Allen.
What was your
to Allen
thoughts
touchdown.
on that? Pretty crazy, no?
Yeah, I would say very crazy, dude. I wouldn't put anything past Josh Allen like that, though. I mean, it's funny how they end up scoring that stat. Obviously, I mean, it's cool.
I don't know if I've seen that before.
I could confidently say I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Like I've seen a lot of things. Like like laterals. Like we've seen Kelsey do that last season, whatever. But something like that, and like for Josh Allen, first of all, like the fact that Josh Allen is even like running towards the ball after he throws it is kind of like unlikely for most quarterbacks.
I mean, that's probably why he's going to win the MVP.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, I'm just, you see Aaron Rodgers throw a ball, there could be a play right in front of him, and he's walking away from it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for Allen to put himself in that position, obviously totally deserves it. And then, that body run downfield, you're not going to stop it. So.
How about this for Allen? Only 148 yards, but 2 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, and technically counts as a receiving touchdown with the lateral, from Amari Cooper. James Cook,
which is wild,
running for 107 yards on the ground and a score. As a team, the Bills rushing for 220 here, so blowing out the Niners, and I think they're the first team that won the NFC to come back the next year and lose back-to-back games by 3 scores. Something like that.
Yeah.
But obviously in shambles. McCaffrey looks like with an MCL is going to be out for the year.
That's really tough.
So you hate to see that all that talent in San Francisco most likely going to a waste at 5-7. But boy, I don't know about you, Tony, but I could confidently say this is the best version of the Bills that I've ever seen with Josh Allen.
Yeah, dude, and I think it starts and stops with him. Obviously, they have great receivers and whatnot, and did a great job in acquiring more guys throughout the year. But I mean, Josh Allen, we spoke about him, and his I guess maturation as a NFL quarterback is ridiculous, dude. For him to come back now and still improve himself by limiting turnovers. I mean, you said, dude, MVP candidate for sure.
Yeah. And how about Jay here going only quarterback to run, pass, and catch a touchdown? Marcus Mariota versus the Chiefs. Michael Buck is still fantasizing with the women in Southern California in the palm trees. Did you do the tackle or?
We can play the tackle. Let's play the tackle for Jason here.
Still grieving after that die-hard loss there to Seattle yesterday.
Oh yeah, dude. But obviously this is our boy Cooper DeJean, who's a rookie out of Iowa, by the way. I found that out. But I guess let's just see this textbook tackle here. Derrick Henry, a little reception. There's Cooper. I mean, that's it, dude. That's exactly what you want.
Wow.
And you think I can't do that? I can definitely do that.
Oh, yeah, dude, definitely. definitely.
I mean, dude. I mean, literally, that's just what you got to do. Take the
Jay
legs.
saying,
Take the
"Thanks,
legs
guys."
out of the equation, dude.
And I say, you're welcome.
You're welcome, dude.
What are your thoughts, Tony, on this matchup in Denver tonight, Monday Night Football? Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Lisa Salters, 8:15 on ESPN. I don't know the status of the Manning cast, but I know if there was one, I wouldn't be watching. But Denver, 6.5-point home favorites, and the Browns have not played since winning on Thursday Night Football against Pittsburgh. Everyone jacked up for Jameis. What's your thoughts on this matchup? I mean, Denver's obviously played well at 7-5.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't think much of this matchup, to be honest. I would imagine it's Denver in a landslide.
Really?
To be honest, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
I really do enjoy Bo Nix. I think he's starting to show something. I think he can be a good NFL quarterback here. Whether it be the coach he has or whatever it may be. I mean, the guy is performing, which is why, they've scored, 38 points against Atlanta 2 weeks ago, 29 points against, Las Vegas in their back-to-back wins. That's exactly what you want, especially after coming off back-to-back losses, Baltimore, Kansas City. That probably is, the extent, these past 5 games, I think, showcase the extent of where the Broncos are going, beating these middling teams. The Browns are definitely one of them. I really don't care about Winston. I don't care about, them beating the Steelers, whatever, dude. I think Broncos are going to be riding at home here.
But one thing that you're, forgetting is the Jerry Jeudy revenge spot. Had a great game last time out against the Steelers, drafted by the Broncos, a little homecoming of sorts. And so that might be a Josh B prop bet. So maybe he'll get his pencil out for that one. Anytime touchdown Jeudy, maybe over receiving yards. Ernie feels like he would like that one. And a couple comments here. Josh B saying the Manningcast is goated, and that is interesting.
Wow.
I'm surprised about that one, I have to say. Josh B, he doesn't seem like a Manningcast guy. He says so much better than Troy and Buck. I have to say I disagree.
I mean, I don't like Troy and
But I just want to watch a broadcast.
An actual
I'm
broadcast.
surprised that you don't like them, though. I don't know.
I don't know. Do you think their jokes are stupid?
But I just feel like, is there just something to that if you're not focusing on the jokes and you're just focusing on the calls, the plays, there's just something that feels right about hearing them broadcast a game.
I guess. I mean, they have good, they have the voices for it. Aikman does, certainly. But
And I feel like I'm not paying attention to the jokes, though. You know what I mean? I'm just paying attention to the game.
Well, yeah, but that's why I hear the jokes, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Even sometimes the shit that Aikman says, I don't know. Sometimes I think he's losing it, man. You get a little too.
I don't know. I have to say, I think they do a great job, and I think the Mannings, Tony, are the biggest Chiefs in the world. Jay agrees, saying Manningcast is doom. Michael Bucket says Browns Bucks going to be a poop fest. And then your mother asking about Wicked, Tony. Did you see the showing over the weekend?
My parents and I went to see Wicked. It was good. We'll talk about it on Binge Buddies tomorrow night.
It seems like you, just looking at you, it wore you out a little bit. Like a long movie.
Dude, it was like 3 hours.
No, I know because Sam saw it.
And I didn't I knew there was going to be multiple parts too. So I was like, okay, this is probably going to be a 2-hour movie. 3 hours is a little long, dude. And not for nothing, I mean, there wasn't much progression of story, over the course of 3 hours.
I mean, let's not sugarcoat it. You didn't really think it was that good, Tony.
No, I mean, the casting is good. The acting is good. The storyline is good. But again, it's just like you had this 3-hour epic movie, and you really didn't tell me much,
Ariana Grande, good performance? Or
tremendous performance. Yeah, she killed it. So did the woman who played, the Wicked Witch, Farah, something like that. So I mean, again, everything seems to be in place, but it's a money grab because I'm pretty sure it's a trilogy. It's gonna be 3 parts. I think 3 parts, at least 2, and then you're making them 3 hours long, and I think you're milking it. You're really milking this one. The success of the Broadway play, it's been on for 25 years, everyone wants to see the movie, let's make a bunch, make all this money. So, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like you thought too highly of it, Tony. to say the least.
It was just the 3 hours.
The 3 hours.
3
Yeah, I
hours.
mean, listen, that's tough. Was it a night showing, afternoon, matinee? Was it a matinee?
It was an early afternoon. I think 2:30.
I can't imagine like a 10 o'clock showing of that. There's no way you don't fall asleep.
I forget. Somebody I know went there at 10 o'clock. I'm like, dude,
Fell
that's
asleep?
brutal, dude. No, stayed up.
I know I can't do a 3-hour movie at 10 o'clock. No way.
No, that's brutal, dude.
Yeah.
But it was nice, dude. The middle of the day come out. It was like 5:30, and then Manor House dinner. Afterwards,
Manor.
The Manor House, dude.
Yeah,
The wings, the salad,
That's
dude.
where the eyes perk up.
The
right
burger.
there.
Yeah, I was the whole movie. I'm thinking about the burger.
Yeah, you
dude.
didn't care about the movie. You just
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
get to the meal.
Yeah. Speaking of burgers, dude, I had one at a little pub last night. Not good.
Really?
Yeah, kind of like really disappointed with the
Which
Little Pub.
burger?
I had the whatever their breakfast burger is, the over easy.
I think
or
I've
whatever.
had that. Wait, but you go to the Stratford location?
No, we're Fairfield.
Fairfield.
Yeah,
Fairfield. Gotcha.
Right after the
Gotcha.
Fairfield U game.
Fairfield U
Burger
game.
overcooked, and honestly, like could have been bigger. Should have had more fries. But their wings were fire. I had the wings. Wings were fire,
Okay,
dude.
so at least the wings salvaged
And
it.
then Michael Clem Chowder also fire. He said.
Oh, interesting. Clam chowder. By the way, your mother said, how do you feel about these crazy college games? And I know Tony's going to poo-poo and say all these negative things, but I have to say, this was the first time this year where I actually saw a good amount of games. The Michigan-Ohio State game was great. The Georgia Tech game was great. So I have to say, I really enjoyed it. You know, the whole, who's in, who's out. USC Notre Dame was good for a while before a couple pick sixes did them in. But, we got conference championship games coming up this week. Some great games. And Texas A&M also was a good game as well. And Texas gets that rematch with Georgia. So I have to say, I will be mentioning a little college football here because I think it's just going to be fascinating. The first year of the 12-team playoff. And I still just couldn't believe as 20.5-point favorites, Michigan. Underdogs, Michigan beating Ohio State. Ryan Day, 1-4 as the Ohio State head coach against Michigan. That definitely, ruffles some feathers. So, I think conference championship games start on Friday, so they'll be played over Friday and Saturday. So we'll definitely talk about that. Some compelling matchups, for sure. The SEC, Big 12, Big 10. And then, before we know it, Army-Navy, playoff selection, all of that. And, some more comments here. Tommy, referring to his love for Eli Manning, big Giants fan, says he's definitely team quarter. Zip, Joe and Truck and Kick rocks. But I just, the thing that I don't get about that, Tony, is and you speak of Joe and Troy, their jokes and stuff. Just could somebody tell me though how the Mannings are funny though?
They are funny.
But how?
They are funny. No, but they are, dude. Like they're two lovable brothers. They obviously have great chemistry, and they're both funny, dude. Like,
I thought you don't like the Manning cast. I swear you've said that to me.
No. I think they're great. The Manning cast sometimes, can get really brutal when they're bringing on random people and they're trying to
Casas.
It's not like a good broadcast. Like I wouldn't watch that for the broadcast. I'd watch that in the background if I want to laugh and then know what happens in the game, But I will say, they are entertaining. Peyton, the quips at each other. I know they've had Bill Belichick on quite a few times too.
I don't know. I don't want gas. I don't want jokes. I don't care how funny they are. I just want to watch the game.
No, I understand that. I understand
Yeah,
that.
I just think there's no need for an alternate broadcast. And I still just don't understand it because I know, yes, they get views from that, but I would think they would just want as many people watching their primary broadcast as possible. No?
Yeah, I think so. But I would imagine that the Manning cast is doing well, which is why they're keeping it, right? So
I just don't think that there's people that are only watching because they're watching the Manning cast, and that's why I just think it's stupid at the end of the day.
And then isn't Manning cast I guess it's an ESPN vehicle regardless Monday night. So,
But
the game isn't on. Is the game on ESPN Plus or just the man? Oh no, I think both are.
Well, I
right?
thought the Manning cast is on ESPN too. No.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
But I don't know. It's just let's just play football at the end of the day. And Michael Baca just does not care about sports right now and is just fantasizing about Southern California, about the women, the beer. We get it, Michael.
The women, dude. Sipping on the beer. He also says Ariana Grande is shit.
And your mother, what is she talking about? Alphaba?
Alphaba. That was the Wicked Witch. That's her name.
Gotcha.
Alphaba.
Gotcha.
She
So
loved
yeah,
the movie. She did love the
I
movie.
mean that's where we're at. But let's do a Monday Night Football frenzy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's freaking go. Monday after Thanksgiving. All right, loosen up your belts. Go out there for a run because it's going to be a big night here around the NFL. Browns, Broncos, we said it. Denver, Colorado, mile high here. Denver at -6 on the spread, Brian. Okay, dude, so they're they're minus 280 on the money line, which is very interesting. Not a lot of value, I guess. You'd have to go Browns if you want value, but, I mean, that's a loss in my opinion. The Browns, speaking of them, big win against Pittsburgh. They've been off for more than a week here, so it's pretty interesting to see what they come out, fresh legs. The Broncos, we mentioned the back-to-back wins. Offense is humming. Bo Nix looks good. Do you think that Winston and the Browns have what it takes to upset the Broncos in Denver?
So I don't think the Browns have what it takes to win. But I do think they have what it takes to cover. So I like the Broncos outright. You know, if you want to do the minus 280, great. But I would say go Browns plus 6.5, and then I would say under the total of 42.5, which, yes, I get it, seems low. But I think this is going to be a field goal game. And I think the Browns will win this, or the Broncos will win this game 20-17. So we're gonna go with the Browns and the under. What are your thoughts here, sir?
I mean, I said it by a landslide, dude. Give me the Broncos. Excuse me, they're covering. You said under?
Under.
Yeah, I think this would go under, dude. But I think it's the Broncos all day. Bo Nix. Who's their receiver? Sutton.
Courtland
Sutton, dude. Someone who's been, obviously with the Denvers for quite a few years, even when Judy was drafted. And I don't know, man. I mean, I get it. Judy's on a roll too. But I just think Bo Nix, I mean, the chemistry he has, because Sutton that is, with Bo Nix, I think vastly outweighs anything that Jameis Winston can bring out on the field here. Maybe there's a couple picks. I forget the Broncos safety too, but he's been doing pretty. Simmons, yes, dude. Also been with the team for a while. He's been doing well. So I think maybe a couple picks thrown from Winston. Second half, they come in maybe at a halftime. It's like a 14-7 game. Looks good, but then pull away second half. Bo Nix, Sutton, 2 receiving touchdowns. Second half, 4 of them total for the game. Broncos go on to win this game. I'm going to say, 28-10.
And just like that, that is your Monday Night Football frenzy. So I think I'm 0 for my last 2 on Monday night. So hoping to strike here. And I just thought, and I know that was a division game in the snow at home.
Divisional game.
But I just was impressed with the way that the Browns played against the Steelers last time out. Jerry Jeudy revenge spot. Love the anytime touchdown. Really might bet it, Tony, because it just seems like that type of thing, always happens when a player goes back to a team, especially that they were drafted by. I just think Jameis, is kind of fighting for his career right now, and a couple wins here end of the season could go a long way. Your mother says, nice shirt, Brian, so appreciate that. Michael really needs to tone it back. I think maybe he's sipping on a couple cold ones right now, talking about the hat backwards and the shades on and the white shirt.
Oh, absolutely.
A little nuts, but I hope we get a great game here tonight, and I hope Tony gets a couple chuckles out of Joe and Troy. But let's go to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here he comes! McDavid shoots! Top shelf! He scores! Captain with the overtime winner! That's the middle quick! Hit Cameron! It's a world-class hit right here. Tomsky stepping. Rink Washington made the full split save!
Are you kidding me? Turn. Side of the net between the legs and they score! Filthy! David Pasternak!
The silver trophy to the Golden Knights!
All right. So the Rangers, since we last, had a show, couple games, the old splitting of the sixes. But if we do go back to their game against the Flyers on Friday, a game where they were right in, 2-1 game late, give up that last goal, knife in the stomach, so lose to a Flyers team that you feel like they are way better than, and they lose that game 3-1 in Philadelphia. So it was a tough start to the weekend. Trocheck with his 5th goal of the year, the only scoring here for the Rangers. Igor, definitely, played a good game, 32 of 34, but it was just yet another game, and I believe it was their 5th straight loss, but it was just another game against a team that you felt like they were better than, and they just were clearly outplayed once again. Pretty disappointing effort there on Friday.
Yeah, dude. Definitely disappointing. You think of the Flyers and like type of team they are, but definitely, obviously, Rangers in that weird transitional kind of feel. Obviously, you're still trying to get these wins here, but Hedl was out, Kreider out. You had Brett Berard. You're trying him out. You're trying some new things. So I guess you could see the adjustments there. But obviously, yeah, tough loss. To lose 3-1. This is a game. Maybe if you're Laviolette or Drury and you're bringing up these younger guys and you got Kreider out or whatever, and you may think, all right, let's try and rely on some goaltending, some defense we haven't had all year, and let's win a game, 2-1, 1-0, 2-0, whatever. Obviously didn't happen here. You just really didn't possess the puck as much as you would want to. You're giving up too many shots, and you weren't really, I guess, trying to pull in penalties against the Flyers or anything like that. You didn't play as physical as you did previous games. It did seem like there was an empty feeling after this game. And, since then, rightfully so. There was reports of the team, stripping Trouba of his captaincy.
Has that ever happened?
I don't know specifically about mid-season.
Yeah, that seems crazy.
But, there's been, players who were captains in the Rangers and the next year they're not, Same thing for Hefty, an assistant captain. But, yeah, dude, I don't know. I couldn't think of a time that happened mid-season. But regardless, that is something that's pretty, significant, We talked about a lot of, like, what the leadership is like on the team right now. And the fact that Trouba seems to be an issue and the fact that he is still captain is kind of odd.
But is like the issue that like people think like he just sucks and they're like this guy's our captain and he's just not playing well? Is that why that's the controversy?
I would imagine it's that, and then on top of him maybe just not being a good leader in general, which him being captain was, I think, in question from the start, from when he was announced to be captain. And he showed glimpses of what a strong, leader or defenseman might be, fighting adversities, pulling his team through it, a good playoff run last year. But, right now, I think a lot of people, including I'm sure the team themselves, want answers. And I think they're looking to that. We know about the offseason issues with Trouba, what almost was him not being on the team. And obviously the fact that he's been announced to be on the trading block right now, things are not good. Even though, the Rangers do sit in a wild card spot right now, I believe, and they're in position for success, to make the postseason, if that's, in terms of that success. But obviously after this game, you're not feeling good at all. But obviously, we can talk about yesterday's game also, or 2 days ago, Saturday's game.
Saturday's game, 4-3. A game that they led 3-1. Jonathan Quick getting the start, 25 of 28 in net. And Panarin did have his 13th to start the scoring with a power play. So they do strike first, but that doesn't even last for 3 minutes as Matheson ties it at 1. Vinny T, though, in a game where they had 2 important goals at the end of periods, with only 4 seconds remaining, gets his 6th goal of the year, so scoring in back-to-back games. Maybe it's not a good things to come for Vinny. So it was 2-1 going to the second. Zibanejad, right before the end of the second period, 17:03, his 5th of the year power play. Panarin and Fox. And on that one, Fox does have 20 assists so far this year. So 3-1 lead going to the third period. You're thinking, nice and easy, sound defense, maybe add one on, win this one handily. But Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki with a pair of goals in 10 minutes. So with little less than 6 minutes remaining, this was a tie game. And you're thinking, here we go again, the collapse. But Kako, haven't said this many times, the hero here, power play with only 24 seconds remaining, is 4th of the year, 4-3 Rangers. So they get the win, and I'm sure, a lot of Rangers fans felt like, all right, well, it's nice to break the losing streak here, but you felt like this is a team that you're far better than, and you win by a thread. But do you think there is some importance to snapping the streak, the reset, maybe some energy with this rivalry game at the Garden tonight against the Devils?
Yeah, definitely, dude. I mean, you want to talk about some energy, I guess like you're saying too, you'll get that win, and it's not like, you're not sitting here like all is, resolved.
Yeah, we're back.
By no means do you feel that way, but I will say though, not for nothing, Kreider's back in the lineup, Hedl back in the lineup, healthy, which is great. And with what we were just talking about, with the story coming out with Trouba, being removed as captain, what does he do? He gets into a fight within the first, I think 5 minutes of this game. Gets his shit rocked, Brian. I don't know if you saw the fight.
I did see that.
Not good. But that's obviously, what Trouba's doing, I suppose, in terms of trying to fire the bench up. And then they were fired up. And then wouldn't you know it, Panarin scores in the power play. Speaking of the power play, you had 3 power play goals this game, which I did some digging. I think since that Jets game they went to, they were 0 for 14 in the power play.
Since the game we went to?
Yeah. Against the
Holy,
Jets.
that's crazy.
So, obviously, we see a lot of these games where they don't have the opportunity to be on power plays, but still, the man advantage has been not necessarily an advantage for them this year.
Disadvantage.
So to see that coming out of the power play unit, I think is great. I think a huge takeaway. And Laviolette said it too best after the game. This isn't a good win. It's not an attractive looking win. We had to get out there. You had to really earn that win. But nonetheless, he said, I think there's a lot of good takeaways, the power play being one of them.
You need the power play.
And you just, no matter what, you just got to, we're going to pull ourselves out from here. You just got to build upon the positives here, focusing on that. So I like Laviolette's take here. I've never really doubted him necessarily as a coach. So, you want to feel good with this win. But like he says too, you gotta build upon it. You can't just win one game and then kind of feel good into this one. You need to start to get on a roll here. And you can look to whoever you want. If you want it to be Trocheck is heating up, if Kako, if it's the power play unit, whatever. But you gotta win, dude. I don't care. Trouba, get into the fight. Get into for sure. Get off the ice.
Lose a couple teeth.
Yeah, sure, dude. Be bloody. Yeah. If that's what you have to do to fire this team up, get into another fight, especially rivalry, the Devils, and not for nothing. Their Devils are good right now.
16-9. Have lost 2 out of 3 though.
I was gonna say I know maybe as of late they just lost to Washington. Washington we can get into because they've been good even without Ovechkin, which is ridiculous.
Crazy.
Even when you see Charlie Lindgren scoring on himself, dude.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, dude, because they find ways to win games.
Like me scoring on myself in NHL. Which
Literally,
we'll see next week.
Doesn't matter now though, because he's back, dude. He's got it. Classic.
But yeah, and Michael does say too. What do you think about our very own saying that the Rangers need to make moves quick?
Yeah, no, I think so, dude. I think a lot of teams are going to be buyers at this deadline. There's going to be quite a few teams that will be sellers as well. Because, again, there's certain teams that still have the targets on their back. There's teams that are good right now, like the Capitals, that I'm sure want some support with Ovi being out. If they want to make a push to the playoffs, they're going to need better players. Vancouver being one as well. A lot of teams are going to be buying. Who knows what the Oilers are going to be looking to do as well. Mike says, they do have to make moves fast. They have to make decisions quickly, and they have to be the right decisions. Because so far, it seems like the decisions that Drury's been making aren't necessarily the best.
You know what one really stings tonight? We've talked about this, but he keeps playing well. Roslovic.
Does he still keep playing well?
Yeah. Double-digit goals. How But see, that just almost makes me think that part of that is coaching, Tony. Like, how could he be good and just be a complete non-factor for us?
I don't know. I will stand by that it was him, dude. I mean, the postseason, he was not good. But he did play well when we brought him over to the Rangers. He was a hard skater. He was great for entering the zone and sustaining an offensive shift. But I don't know, like everyone else in the postseason, no one showed up, And I'd be interested to see what he would do again. He's on the Hurricanes, right?
Yeah.
On the Hurricanes in the postseason to see what happens. Again, I mean, no one was performing in the postseason. No one. And maybe, I would not think that that's coaching. That cannot be coaching. You can't have a great team win the President's Trophy, and then in the playoffs, you just look so flat. It's not, they can't coach that.
The guy, though. You need the guy. I think that's a big,
Yeah, I guess.
You need, or at least someone they already have to separate themselves in that.
Right, they didn't do that in the
happen.
postseason.
No. But Aaron did that in the regular season.
Right, and he almost started to do it in the postseason.
Scores? Was that him?
That was him. That was an OT winner against Carolina.
How far removed we feel from that.
I know, it's terrible.
But I don't know, Tony. I have to say, by the way, Tommy says Lindgren, hard G. I just feel like, though, I like the way that the schedule sets up right now, because this is a game that you get up for. Even if you're not playing well, the Devils is a game that you're always going to get up for. You have it on your home ice. And I just think a win here, you get, 3 days off. And then, the game we're going to be at against the Penguins, a game again that you get up for. I think that this can very quickly turn in the other direction, and then you couple that with
is a game.
The eventual trades that they make, getting more talent, getting Trouba out of there. I mean, this thing could turn around quick.
Yeah, no, it definitely could. Again, like I was saying, you're in a wild card spot right now. You have the tools there. Like you're not.
It's not over yet.
It's not over at all, dude. Like it's not doom and gloom. It feels like that because the expectations were so high for them, and there seems to be like internal issues, dude.
You think it's just Trouba?
No, I don't.
And it's interesting if Kreider, I don't know if that's supposed to be a motivational tactic, but is it like, could he really be part of the problem?
I mean, the fact that he said no
to the captaincy,
is that factual?
I don't know. I mean, who even told us that again?
You told me that.
But somebody must have told me that.
Oh,
Tommy.
no.
No, Tommy.
Oh, yeah?
Tommy. Tommy or Josh definitely said that.
You trying to throw one of them under the bus here?
No, I think it's Tommy, but I know it's just one of the Discord conversations we were having
Captaincy
last couple
here.
weeks.
Alternate captain, we know that. Chris Kreider would rather have Stanley Cup than...
I'm sure Tommy will comment about it.
Yeah. Nothing yet?
Nothing just yet, but I'm sure he will. And I know it was either him or Josh B, but I know that was the case. But yeah, I mean, but I still can't get a sense of it, Tony. I mean, do you buy into what I'm saying about like these two games being really important? You win these two, you're just in a completely different place, and you might get things going again.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it all is about momentum, and Canadiens gritty win. You found a way to win.
Just to snap that streak, just to
exactly
get
just
out
snap a
of
streak,
that whole
and then
thing.
now you followed up with a win against a good Devils team.
Right.
Yeah, dude. Like you need the win. Like you need this win, dude. Because that is everyone's mentality. At least it's my mentality. I'm not gonna speak for all Rangers fans, but obviously the one win here isn't enough. It's about doing the next thing right, which is winning tonight. So like you got to get something rolling. Tommy?
No, not yet. I was just looking at after Pittsburgh, Sunday home to Seattle, Monday home to Chicago, before going to Buffalo.
Winnable games.
Yeah, all winnable games. And then, home to the Kings, 3-game road trip, St. Louis, Nashville, Dallas. Still don't see many teams that it's like it's daunting to have to play them. So this is an opportunity before you get the Devils and the Lightning, Florida, Bruins, Capitals. That's the stretch from the last week of December through the first week of January. So that's a tough stretch. So that's why you have to take advantage of these games, as you would say, Tony, right now.
Right now, dude.
Level of confidence with the win tonight against the Devils, 1 to 10.
No, I'm feeling pretty good, dude. I talking about the positives too of the Canadiens game.
Plus money. Plus 110 at home.
Really, dude.
Kind of interesting. No?
That is interesting.
Shekels. It just talked about them right now, but I don't know. I just think a rivalry game, we see it in the NFL all the time, just brings a different breed of hockey
I'm gonna say
out in the players.
my confidence in the Rangers winning 7 out of 10 tonight.
Love it.
7, dude.
Love it.
Yes.
So let's just
Let's
go
fucking
to
go,
it,
dude.
Tony. Let's do a Monday night Frozen Frenzy.
Wow, dude. Feels like forever since we've done one of these here. But let's get it started. A lot of games, I think, tonight. I'm
Only
actually
3.
not sure. Damn it, dude.
But I think that the pipes can regenerate. You know.
No, that's good. That's good. A small slate here around the National Hockey League. We're going to start it off with our first game, our earliest game, our best game. It is the Ranger game. MSG, we know the deal. Devils here, the rivalry across town, Jersey, New York, who's better, the draft picks, they pick better, we pick better, who knows? Brian mentioned it, Rangers plus 110 on the money line. They're plus 1.5 here on the spread. Total is 6.5. So Vegas expecting some of the scoring. Even though Jacob Markstrom, even Igor Shesterkin have been good this year, they're expecting to see some high-flying action, some fighting, some physicality, some scoring, Brian. Do you expect to see the same?
Yes. But I think a tough, gritty game. Not going to be easy, but that's okay. You're playing a quality opponent. Rivalry game. But this screams to me 1-1 after 1, 2-2 after 2, and I think after 3, 4-3. And I think the signs of life out of Vincent Trocheck. He has the game winner. Similar fashion to Kako. Power play, last couple minutes. Igor honing in down the stretch. I think in this one, he's going to stop 37-40. And the Rangers will prevail. Rangers in the over 4-3.
I love that call there. The 4-3, kind of ironic. I was thinking the same thing, Brian.
That is kind of crazy.
Kind of crazy here, dude. How we get there may be a little different, but I do anticipate a lot of fighting, honestly, going on in this game. At least 2 fights. I'm looking at Miller, looking at Trouba.
For Trouba?
2 teeth, 3 teeth for Trouba. Gone, dude. Helmet possibly thrown as well. But I think it's going to be Artie Panarin who gets the scoring starting for the Rangers here tonight. Devils answer. I do love the tightly contested game. 1-1 after 1, 2-2 after 2. Third period starts off probably a Jack Hughes goal. I'm going to say maybe Nico Hischier. But I would imagine Hughes takes one in himself. And I think you're going to see Vinny T, 5-on-5 play, tie it up late in the game with 3 minutes left. Chris Kreider with the power play goal, the patented tip in front of Markstrom. All right, dude, screen the goalie, deflect the puck in. Rangers right there. They win 4-3. They start their roll. Devils back-to-back losses. Rangers start the regular season series against the Devils off right here with the win, Brian. Oh, next game. That's right, dude.
I know it's been a while, Tony, but it hasn't been that long.
So I'm just revved up at the Rangers,
like
dude.
I
Looking
was
at you,
missing
like,
out.
damn it, dude. Next game, there's 2 other games.
All right,
Who even
dude.
fucking cares for the Toronto fucking Maple Leafs? They're playing pretty well. Scotia Bank doesn't matter because they're playing the Blackhawks, dude. Speaking of throwing some shekels, dude. Chicago plus 320 on the money line. Over-under is 5.5, Brian. They're working off back-to-back losses. Maple Leafs winners of 4 of their last 5. Only loss was to the Panthers, which makes sense here. Where are you putting the Blackhawks in this game?
Yeah, I know sometimes I've taken the Blackhawks,
Yes, you have.
but this is not the time. I know the Maple Leafs occasionally will lose games against opponents that they shouldn't. Evident by their 4-4 record away from Toronto. Michael,
away we
this is
go.
a home game here. So 10-3 Toronto, minus 425. Nothing to think about. You take
Nothing
the
to
heavy
think
dog.
about.
Great to see you, Michael. And Toronto, I think wins this handily. I'm gonna say 4-2. So it's gonna be the Maple Leafs and the over with Austin Matthews having the Josh B hat trick. Get the prop bet out. Earn it.
Plenty of I think Brian's hot on the prop bets
Props,
today,
dude.
dude.
The props.
The props, dude. I mean, I can't really disagree with that. I mean, Maple Leafs significantly outweigh here the Blackhawks. It's chalk, dude. I mean, I guess give me Mitch Marner, huh? With the Hattie Boom Batty.
Wow.
9 goals in the season, not leading the team, but leading the team in points. And I think tonight will be from goals here. 3 goals, 2 assists there for him. Maple Leafs win 5-1. So there we go. A little bit of bounce back there for the Maple Leafs, losing the Devil to the Panthers. Doesn't really matter. Next game here. The last game, 9 p.m. Utah, dude. The UHC, the Utah Hockey Club, taking on the Stars in Salt Lake City, dude. Dallas, minus 135 there. Total is 6.5, so not bad value, I guess, for Dallas, who are working on back-to-back wins, beating the likes of which? The Avs, the Jets, dude. Very impressive wins there. Outscoring them 8-4 totally there, which is great. But speaking of the scoring, Utah Hockey Club in a surprising victory, 6-0 win against the Golden Knights. Are they starting something in Salt Lake City, Brian?
Oh, yes. Yes, and yes. Value play here, plus 115 at home. Clayton Keller, 2 goals and an assist. I'm going to say Connor Ingram is going to save 30 of 31.
Love that, dude.
As Utah wins this game 3-1. The Utah Hockey Club and the under.
I'm going to keep going chalk here. Give me Dallas Stars in this victory here. Utah, it's nice. You're in Vegas. You won. But they've been a model of inconsistency, I feel like. I guess model of 500 at 10-10-4. They do seem to win every other game, which means they lose every other game, Brian, which is why I put them at a loss here. Ottinger, a 2-0 shutout there for the Stars. Give me Henson Duquesne there with the lone goal scorers. So let's freaking go, dudes. Dallas Stars and the under.
And just like that, that is your Monday night Frozen Frenzy. Tommy saying being the captain is decided by the locker room to the best of my understanding, so I really can't hold it against Trouba. But the thing is, once he is the captain, Tony, he can do a better job.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you're chosen for a reason. I understand where Tommy's coming from. It's like, well, they chose him, so it's not like they fucked up. Which again is fine too. But again, you would still want Trouba to play better. I mean, it's not even just because he's the captain, because you're paying him over $8 million a year.
And I don't know, maybe just because it's not like a huge name, so this kind of just went, under the radar here. And I know he didn't pitch for them that long, but what was your thoughts on the Mets going with
Frankie
a former
Montas?
Yankee, Frankie Montas, 2 years, $34 million. What's the breakdown there?
I mean, I guess you didn't pay a ton for him, but at the end of the day, it's like, what was his ERA last year? 4.5. ERA
I know
before
he pitched
that.
well when he went to Milwaukee midseason.
But even so,
4.84 ERA.
4.84 for the year.
For the year,
For the
yes.
year. So it's
Over
not
150 innings.
which is good, I guess.
Which is how is 4.84 good? I guess.
No, 150 innings.
Oh, I thought you
Like
were
innings
saying
pitched,
the ERA
because he
though.
struggled with injuries.
Yeah,
and,
before that,
Before
right.
that, Brian.
Well, come on. To me, this screams Tony is tight.
Yeah.
When I first
No,
found
it
out,
is.
to be
It is,
honest.
dude. It's like, because
What are we doing?
Like, what are we doing? And it's also like, I mean, like, you didn't even. Are you not re-signing like Manaea? Like, because he hasn't been re-signed yet.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
it's
they're
like-
thinking cheaper alternatives.
Which I really hope not, because
Yeah.
not for nothing. Like, Manaea did do well.
Right.
And talk about, obviously pitched the innings, like had good outings, like a late stretch of the season was a big reason why they were going to the wild card, going through the playoffs. And it's like, now you're signing freaking Montas. Like, I don't know, dude. By no means is he someone to me that's like going to be a starter.
Last 5 starts, 5.55 earned run average, but did strike out 38 over 24 innings.
I don't really care though. Like what, like
No, I know. I
what
agree
is
with
for
you.
the year? 151 innings pitched. What is it, like 149 strikeouts? Like he's not that big of a strikeout guy, is he?
148. Almost right on the head there.
So like, come on, dude. Like I feel like that this is not very progressive.
Yeah. No, I agree. Also, Matthew Boyd, who hasn't pitched 100 innings the last 5 years, got 2 years and $29 million from the Cubs. I was kind of surprised about that. I know that's not a lot for a starting pitcher, but
It's
to
not
not
a
pitch
lot.
100 innings.
Yeah. I mean, Cubs struggling for good pitching.
I guess. So that's really it. I mean, the Dodgers did go 5 years, $74 million. Maybe getting a little emotional. Edman, the postseason hero, but really, if you look at it statistically, has not put together really any good seasons. But maybe they're hoping that this is like the turning
spark?
point of his career. I don't.
Yeah, well, guess so. How old is he? 28?
I
Older than that?
I almost think older. Yeah.
31?
Let's see. So Edman is 29.
29, dudes. All right. I mean, I guess. Good for him.
What was I gonna?
I don't know. Tommy Edman.
Tommy.
No joy.
No joy. No. And then also, I'm guessing you heard, maybe not. This like Randy Miller guy from NJ.com is saying that like, oh, the Red Sox like have the best offer to Soto, but just one of these things. I mean, am I missing anything? But it's like until the Jeff Passan, the Tim Kirchin, the Ken Rosenthal confirmed source comes out, we don't know anything.
You don't know anything.
No.
But that would be ridiculous. I mean, I still will stand by the Yankees are going to keep him, dude. There's no way they're going to let him walk away.
And it's like, it's fucked up, but it's just like, I just feel like I'm convinced that it's like him and Boris, it's like every little thing possible to get every penny, Tony, out of the Yankees.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think.
definitely.
And what's the best way to strike a nerve? Division rival, crosstown rival.
Oh,
That's why those are like the big teams that we've heard about with them.
Yeah,
What a
Mets,
better way to
Red Sox.
get the nervousness, the anxiety going.
Yeah. Absolutely, dude.
So, it's supposedly, from what you've seen, and again, how can we go by these reports? But it seems like a lot of people think in the next week or so he'll decide. But that, I think, will, cause really an onflow of signings from that point on. And I was just thinking, you were mentioning Manaea. Is that something that you feel like has to get done for the Mets or no?
Yeah, I think it does have to get done, dude. Just because I think if you don't re-sign him and let him walk, he's probably going to be decent for another team. And then there's also going to be another hole in your rotation.
Right.
So, you do have to at the very least, you have to build upon last season, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't clean house now.
Right.
And I think Manaea is one of the guys you should be having to stick around, dude.
And what's it? Quintana has another year?
I think one more year, yeah.
Yeah. Is that a guy you'd almost like to see get dealt, maybe, or no? Or you're good with Quintana?
I wouldn't be upset if he got dealt.
Yeah. I just feel like
now may be a good time, too.
I think that's the last good stretch he's gonna have of his career.
I would think so as well, dude.
So what do you think that is?
I don't know.
Somebody bumping music outside.
Yeah, freaking ugh.
But I mean, I think that's really all the big news. I think the Knicks won again. They're rolling. Yeah. Have you seen a quarter of them this year?
I think a quarter is a good,
You've seen about
I
a
would
quarter.
say a quarter, yeah.
I lost fantasy basketball. All of a sudden, I'm 4 games out after being in the lead, by the way.
Really, dude?
Yeah. How did you win, or?
No, I definitely got smoked, dude.
I'm tied for second, 4 games back. Kev Dew still on the flan, saying he will be a Met, which is kind of funny.
I'm in 8th place now.
So tight week last week.
Yeah, I got torched by the guy who's in first place right now, the Counter.
The Counter, okay, who I had a tight matchup with the week before.
So a tough matchup, dude. That was a tough one for me.
But the Knicks beat the Pelicans yesterday, 118-85. So the Knicks now 12-8. And if you look at the standings right now, the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference and have won 7 out of their last 10. Karl Anthony Towns with a lot of big games. That's one thing that I knew was going to happen. Towns going to the Big Apple and really playing, better than he had done in previous seasons. 25.2 points, 13 boards. So that trade paying huge dividends, Tony. Correct or not correct?
I would say that's correct, dude.
So a little bit of everything. Also, Tigers tournament in the Bahamas, actually on the site of the former residence of former disgraced FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried in Albany in the Bahamas. So, I think 20-man field, so we'll talk about that on Wednesday. Big hockey night tomorrow, which sets up good, obviously, with the NFL not playing. So we're looking forward to that. Obviously, breaking down the Rangers game tonight against the Devils and the Monday Night Football game. So let's go. But I have to say, great to be back. Nice, lengthy episode. Really feels like we covered everything top to bottom, even Michael Butka's California fantasies.
Oh, my goodness, dude.
But we would like to thank everybody for tuning in today and continuing to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives in the YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee, and Jay in costume. The merch at downtimetv.com. Want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games. Let's go Rangers! And we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.